Hi, welcome to our latest episode of the Jordan Shoe Vault. My name's Mark. I'm your host today. I'm glad that you're here. We're glad that you're watching this video. It's going to be a special one today, so thanks for checking it out. As always, please give us a big like here on the video and hit the red subscribe button if you haven't already so you get updated on when we make new videos. Greatly appreciate that. And leave a comment down below if you have questions, comments, or maybe you'd like to see a shoe on one of our episodes and I may have it in my shoe vault. So I'd be glad to hear your suggestions. Just leave that comment down below. Hey, on today's episode, it's kind of special, it's kind of personal to me, and I want to take you down a kind of a memory lane trip. Instead of doing like a comparison of some shoes or talking about the history of shoes or technical aspects of shoes, I'm gonna talk about my story with the very first pair of Air Jordans that I ever purchased. So it's kind of special to me. As you can see behind me, we changed the poster this time, and from time to time we are putting up some vintage posters that I have as well in the vault, as it were. So this one is called Imagination, and it's from the Air Jordan 2 line. And why would you bring up this poster now? Why would you show the Imagination poster where he's wearing the Air Jordan 2s? Well, way back in 1985-86, when the Air Jordan line started, I was in late elementary school, and when the first shoe came out, I was just mesmerized with the Air Jordan 1, and I wanted to get the Air Jordan 1, and I begged my mom to get me the Air Jordan 1 shoe, and her answer was, no, we're not buying that shoe, it just costs too much, we're not gonna spend that much money. So I wasn't able to get the Air Jordan 1. I remember when the Air Jordan 2 came out, and that's when I bought this poster, him wearing the Air Jordan 2. I thought, Mom, I wanna get the Air Jordan 2. It's out now, can we get this? And it was $100 for this Air Jordan 2. And she said, no, I'm not gonna spend that much money on a basketball shoe or shoe at all. That's crazy. It was kind of unheard of at the time in '87 to spend that much money on a shoe. So she said, no, we're not buying that shoe. So I got the poster that you see behind me instead, and I was able to look at the Air Jordan 2 on that poster. So that brings me to today, and the show we're gonna talk about in the vault. I wanna talk about the first shoe I ever got, and it was the Air Jordan 3, and it took 2 years of talking to my mom about buying the Air Jordan. When the Air Jordan 3 was released, I went back to her again and said, Mom, can I get the Air Jordan 3? I want to get this shoe. And after 3 years of asking and begging for a shoe, she finally gave in and bought me my first pair of Air Jordans. Now, I don't have the original shoe anymore. It's been so long ago, but I have some retro versions of the shoe that I want to show you today. The very first shoe, from my recollection, that I was able to get was this particular shoe, and this is a retro version of it, but it's pretty authentic, pretty close. Was the black cement pair of Air Jordan 3s. Okay, very popular shoe, very amazing. I mean, this changed everything in the Air Jordan line, and maybe one day down the line, down the road I should say, we'll talk about the history and what changed. But I mean, the Jumpman logo was the first time it was there. It just kind of, it was just amazing. They changed from the Wings logo to the Jumpman. I'm like, oh my goodness. And so, Mom, I gotta have these shoes. And so we bought the Air Jordan 3, and from my recollection, I was trying to remember, I'm 95% sure that in 1988, I got the black and cement colorway of the Air Jordan 3. My very first pair of Jordans was this. And as any kid in 7th grade, you would wear these shoes, show them off everywhere you went. It's not like today where I keep them in a closet, but I would wear these shoes all over the place. And here's what happened from what I remember back then. In the back, in the heel area, I wore a hole in the back all the way through to the plastic Nike area. I mean, it was in the back of the shoe just from wearing it, and my mom saw that, and she said, we're not paying $100 for a pair of shoes and to have a hole in the back. And so we had this idea that she said, we're taking those shoes back. And I'm like, we're taking them back? Because I paid so much money for them, we're going back to the store. So I'm not even sure this would happen today or what, but back then in 1988, we went back to the store and took these shoes with us, and my mom showed the people in the shoe store what happened, and showed them the hole, and they were looking at it like, wow, so let's exchange these for you. And I wasn't worried, I'm like, I want my Air Jordan shoes. And so they did not have the black cement colorway anymore of the Air Jordan 3. And I thought, oh great, but they had the next colorway at the time, and so this is the pair that I consider to be my first pair because I had it for the longest period of time. What they had was the Air Jordan True Blue. Now what I'm going to show you is a retro version that came out in 2016, and I had to buy it because I didn't have a shoe anymore that I would consider my first shoe. So this is it. This is the shoe that I consider the very first Air Jordan that I ever owned, the Air Jordan 3 True Blue colorway. Loved this shoe. When I saw the retro being released in 2016, it just brought back all the memories from when I first had this shoe, and the memories of it being my first one, and I knew. Now, here's what's amazing. We paid $100 for these in 1988. The retro version that came out in 2016 cost $220. So you can see how they increased the price a little bit over the years for these shoes. But it has the Nike Air branding on the back. That was very important. As a retro, has a Nike on the bottom. It has the Jumpman logo, the red tongue. It was just almost exactly, like really close. The elephant print just jumped out at me when I first bought this shoe as a kid, and so everything about it, I'm like, wow, this brings back all the memories that I had. So people ask me, what's your favorite Air Jordan shoe? And I had several that I would say are my favorite shoes, but this one right here, the True Blue colorway of the Air Jordan 3, it sits closest to my heart because it was the first one that I ever had, and it took me 3 years of asking my parents, can I get the Air Jordan shoes? Can I get the Air Jordan shoes? I really want to get the Air Jordan shoes. It just took 3 years of asking my mom, and she finally gave in. And from that day forward, I've been getting at least one pair of the Air Jordan signature shoe every year. Starting with the Air Jordan 3, I've had originals from 3 all the way now we're at 32, about to have 33 sometime this year. But so I've been able to get at least one pair of originals in every year. This shoe sits very close to my heart, like I said, and I wanted to take this opportunity just to have this video and show you and give you that story of how I got my very first pair of Air Jordan shoes, and it took me 3 years to get them. And you know what's funny is this shoe, I can remember, I'm thinking back so far ago, it ripped out the same way that the other pair did. And maybe this was for another video, but we ended up taking this one back as well. And I believe at that time the Air Jordan 4 came out, and we were able to get the Air Jordan 4. But that's another story for another day. But this would be my very first pair of Air Jordan shoes. A lot of people have asked me about it. Now, why you like this shoe so much? Jordan Brand has used this influence from the Air Jordan 3 in a lot of different shoes, like the Air Zoom Tenacity that I wear every day. And of course, I bought it in the True Blue colorway. It looks, you can see how much they look. So I love wearing these shoes every day. And that's the reason why I bought this colorway of this running shoe. It's because it takes me back to my very first pair of Air Jordans. Anyway, there's the history of me and getting my very first pair of Air Jordan 3s, and you can go online, check out the history of this actual shoe. It was a game changer for Air Jordan. Another video in the future we'll talk about the history behind it and the design and all that stuff. But I wanted to kind of give you a personal story, my story of the Air Jordan 3 True Blues. So hey, thanks for taking a look at that. Hey, thanks for watching in this latest episode of Jordan Shoe Vault. Make sure you give us a thumbs up again and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also, if you would like to leave a comment down below, let us know what shoe you'd like to see featured on this show. Maybe I have it in my vault and I'd love to talk about it. So leave a comment down below with any of the suggestions you may have for shoes you'd like to see on future episodes. And hey, thanks for watching Jordan Shoe Vault. See you next time.